Hades, the Greek god of the underworld, is one of the most enigmatic and often misunderstood deities in ancient mythology. Unlike his more widely celebrated Olympian siblings, such as Zeus and Poseidon, Hades ruled a domain that inspired both fear and reverence, the land of the dead. While many myths paint him as a grim and forbidding figure, his role in Greek religion was crucial in maintaining the balance between life and death. Despite his fearsome reputation, Hades was not an evil god, but rather a just and impartial ruler of the underworld, ensuring the souls of the dead found their proper place. His mythology includes some of the most well-known Greek stories, and his worship, though less widespread than that of other gods, was deeply significant in certain regions. One of the most famous myths involving Hades is the story of Persephone, which explains the changing seasons and the cycle of life and death. According to the myth, Hades fell in love with Persephone, the daughter of Demeter, and abducted her to the underworld to be his queen. Distraught, Demeter, the goddess of agriculture, caused the earth to wither and grow barren in her grief, refusing to let anything grow until her daughter was returned. Eventually, a compromise was reached. Persephone would spend part of the year with Hades in the underworld and the rest with her mother on earth. This myth served as an allegory for the seasons. Her time in the underworld represented winter, while her return to the surface symbolized the rebirth of spring. Another significant myth involving Hades is the tale of Orpheus and Eurydice. Orpheus, a legendary musician, descended into the underworld to retrieve his beloved Eurydice after her untimely death. Moved by Orpheus' sorrowful music, Hades and Persephone agreed to let Eurydice return to the world of the living, on one condition: Orpheus could not look back at her until they had fully left the underworld. Overcome with doubt at the last moment, Orpheus turned around, only to see Eurydice pulled back into the darkness forever. This tragic story reinforced the idea that the underworld was a place of no return, governed by laws that even love and music could not break. Hades' domain was not simply a place of torment, but a structured and organized realm. The underworld was divided into different sections, each catering to different souls based on their deeds in life. The river Styx, the boundary between the living and the dead, had to be crossed by all souls, ferried by the boatman Charon, who required a coin as payment. This is why ancient Greeks placed coins on the eyes or mouths of the deceased during burial rites. The underworld itself contained Elysium, a paradise for heroes and the virtuous, and Tartarus, a place of punishment for the wicked. The fields of Asphodel were where most ordinary souls resided, existing in a state neither blissful nor torturous. This structured vision of the afterlife showed the Greeks' belief in justice and order beyond death, with Hades as its ruler. Although Hades was not as widely worshipped as other Olympian gods, he still had places of worship and sacred sites dedicated to him. Unlike gods who received grand temples and public festivals, Hades was often honored in secretive and solemn rites. One of his most significant cult centers was at Eleusis, where the Eleusinian mysteries were performed. These sacred rituals, closely tied to the myth of Persephone, promised initiates secret knowledge about the afterlife and the possibility of a blessed existence beyond death. Another major site was the Necromantian, an ancient Greek oracle of the dead, where people sought to communicate with deceased loved ones. Located in Epirus, this sanctuary was believed to be an entrance to the underworld itself. Unlike other gods, who were invoked for blessings in life, Hades was often honored in funerary rites and prayers for the dead, ensuring safe passage into the afterlife. Despite his fearsome image, Hades was a necessary and respected figure in Greek mythology. He was not a villain but a ruler who upheld the natural order, ensuring the cycle of life and death remained unbroken. His myths serve as reminders of fate, love, loss, and the inescapability of death. Though feared, he was also honored, for he governed the inevitable fate that awaits all mortals. Even today, Hades remains a compelling figure, embodying themes of mortality and the mysteries of the afterlife that continue to intrigue and inspire.